Take a look around you. What do you see? A lot of you will see iPads, laptops, cameras, phones, and a lot more electronics. After all, we do live in the year 2013. If you traveled back in time to the 1800s or the 1900s, or even 10 years ago, most of us would just find, well, a little less technology. You'd see that technology has made pretty much a very large jump. So many things have changed since the old days that a lot of us would find it hard to believe that we could survive without these fun little tools. But today, we're not going to talk about the here and now. We're going to talk about something that has always been there: war. Take a look throughout history and you'll see that war and fighting occurred almost everywhere. In fact, there is approximately a total of only 26 years in which the human race has not been fighting amongst itself. Today, of course, we won't be talking about war in general. For that, you'd need to be taking a class, and I would need to be getting paid, but since neither of those things are happening, we'll be narrowing on a specific instrument of war that has made the difference between victory and defeat. More importantly, we'll be talking about the history and the change of something so revolutionary. It changed the course of warfare itself: the cannon. Let's set the scene. Fujian Province, China, January 28th, 1132. A Song Dynasty general captured a city in what was the first documented battlefield use of gunpowder artillery. His weapon was derived from the fire lance, a spear-like weapon that ejected a small projectile along with a flame, usually used in close-quarter combat. No real details were given, and no records survived in Asia until the 1341 poem, The Iron Cannon Affair. The author described the cannonball as something that could, quote, pierce the heart or belly when it strikes a man or horse, and can even transfix several persons at once. The earliest surviving cannon, however, was made 59 years before, in 1282, and was found in Mongol-held Manchuria. But enough about China. Let's move towards the more interesting, Europe. 1248. Roger Bacon publishes his Opus Maior, in which he recognizes gunpowder and its military use. Quote, by only using a very small quantity of this material, it is possible to destroy a town or an entire army. In that same year, a siege in Seville would demonstrate just that. More battles would follow suit and show just how powerful the cannon would turn out to be. Fast forward to the 100 Years' War, when the cannon saw their first real use on a European battlefield. In the English Privy Wardrobe accounts, ribollis, a form of cannon that shot large arrows and grape shot, were mentioned. They were used most notably in the Battle of Crecy in 1346, to which Florentine Giovanni Villani recounts that at the end of the battle, quote, the whole plain was covered by men, struck down by arrows and cannonballs. A true testament to the destructiveness of the cannon. By the time the modern period rolled around, cannons were improved so much so that Niccolò Machiavelli wrote, quote, there is no wall, whatever its thickness, that artillery will not destroy in only a few days. He further describes in The Art of War, quote, it is true that the small artillery do much more harm than the heavy artillery. Such was the case during the 1513 Battle of Flodden Field, where the English guns outpaced the Scottish ones and resulted in an overwhelming English win. Many generals even attribute their rise through the power of cannons. During the Battle of Breitenfeld, in 1631, Swedish King Gustavus Adolphus led his armies to victory despite being outnumbered, having increased the number of cannons to 6 per 1,000 infantry. Another, arguably more famous general, Napoleon Bonaparte, could also attribute his fame to a whiff of grape shot, which led to his rise in popularity, and eventually his takeover when he became Emperor of France in 1803. One last and final example to demonstrate just how effective artillery is takes place during the 1910s. World War I. Statistically speaking, artillery accounted for 75% of all casualties. In fact, artillery is so useful
that it's even being used today, nearly 900 years after the first recorded use. Who knows? It could stick around for another 900 years. Or maybe sometime next year they'll come out with something different and more effective. In this day and age, you never know. As George S. Patton once said, quote, "Wars may be fought with weapons, but they are won by men. It is the spirit of men who follow and of the man who leads that gains the victory." Thank you.